Hello and welcome to another edition of Qmailtoaster Video Magazine. I'm your host, Jake Vickers. In this edition of Qmailtoaster Video Magazine, we're going to cover another topic that I've been asked a couple times, and that's whether or not you can enforce password policies in Qmailadmin for your users. And while I've always said no on the mailing list, there actually is a way. I did find somebody that wrote some code, so that's a disclaimer here. I did not write this code. But I was going back through my links the other day, and that question just kept bothering me. And I did find a link where somebody had written some code. I don't have the web address anymore. I just had the code pasted in there. But they wrote some code anyway, where you could enforce some security policies on passwords being set by the users when they set their password in Qmailadmin, which, as you know, if they log into webmail and they use the squirrel mail thing and they change their password in there, they're actually just logging into Qmailadmin. So this is an effective way to kind of put some restrictions on your users, at least as far as how insecure of a password they're allowed to use. Basically what this code's going to do is it's going to force them to enter a password of at least 6 characters with alphanumeric and at least 1 number. So that should be a little bit more of a secure password than, somebody just using the password of, well, password or something else silly like that. So I'll show you, this is a little more advanced, but I'll just, basically it's just copy and paste. I'll even give you the code here in the video description when I post it. It's basically just copy and paste, and I'll go ahead and I'll show you how to patch Qmailadmin to do this. So we'll get logged into our machine here. And now I downloaded the, actually this is probably an older version of the Qmailadmin package. You're probably going to run a little bit newer version, but we need to install the source RPM. That way we get the source code. And if you're running CentOS, the source code is going to be in /usr/source/redhat/sources in capital letters. You can see we got the source code there. Now we're going to decompress this with tar xj. We'll leave off the V. We'll just do F. You don't need to see everything that scrolls across the screen there. So go ahead and we'll extract it there. We can go ahead and we can remove the archive file because we're going to create a new one. So now we'll cd into the Qmailadmin directory. Now the file we want to edit is Qmailadmin.c. And there's a couple things we need to do here. One of the first things we need to do is we need to add a new include. And that's the ctype.h include. That way we can actually process some of this stuff we're going to do. Then we're going to scroll down a little bit, and right around, if you add that ctype, right around line 113, which is just before our main function, those of you who are C programmers, we need to add in the routine we're going to use to check our password. Now, I've already got it here, so I will just copy it. I'll leave it up here for a second for those of you who don't want to copy and paste but want to actually read it. And then we'll paste it in here. Oh, looks like I lost it. I did lose it. That's too bad. I changed computers, and unfortunately I don't have my window manager working very well in... let's see if we can paste it this way. I don't have my window manager working very well when I record videos. There it is. Unfortunately, that's something I'm going to have to figure out. Okay, we'll get out of insert mode here. And now we're going to do a search for some, for password 1 with a capital P. Let's see, we're going to scroll down to this line right here, which is at line 229, as you can see. We're going to go to the end, and we're going to add some more in here. and that's going to be from this file. And we'll copy and we'll paste. And this basically, you can change this number right here to whatever number you want. This 6 is going to enforce a password of at least 6 characters long. And then we're going to add a couple functions in here. We're going to add in error code 318 to the Qmailadmin file. We're going to add in error code 319 to the Qmailadmin file as well. Basically, this is 318 is going to enforce a that's going to be the error that the user gets if they do not use a password of at least 6 characters long. Like I said, you can change that to however many characters you want. It's your system. You can do whatever you feel like. And then 319 is going to give them an error if they don't use a alphanumeric and at least one number in there. So we'll go ahead and paste that in there. Close here. And make sure we got everything in correctly. Basically, these are the lines we've added. And that's it for here, so we can save, we can exit. Now we need to edit the language file so we can actually put in those error codes. So we're going to vi lang-/en. And these are all the different error codes or modification codes or whatever you're going to see in Qmailadmin. Now we're going to go to the end here because we're going to add in 318, which is and you can change that to basically be whatever you want. I believe the limit is it's either 80 or 120 characters. You'd have to test that. Don't hold me to that. But we're just saying password is too short, must be at least 6 characters long for error code 318. We're going to add in error code 319. Password is too weak. Must contain at least one alphanumeric and one number. And you'll probably have a little more credibility if you spell password correctly. So now, whenever anybody tries to enter a password and it's too short, that's going to call error code 318, and that's going to put this text in there. Or whenever they do one that's too weak, it's going to call 319, which is going to put this text in there. Now we go ahead and we can save and we can exit. We'll cd down one directory. Now remember, we need to create the archive back so we can rebuild the RPM. And I'm using tar cjf to do that. There we go. Now we're going to go into our specs directory, and then we're going to do rpm build BA for build all. That's going to build a new source.rpm file and a binary file. You could just do -bs, which is just going to build the source file, not the other thing you think BS is. Or you could do BB, which is going to build the binary file. But we're going to build all. And then Qmailadmin, the name of the spec file, and it'll go ahead and it'll run through, and it's going to build a new version of Qmailadmin that now has at least, well, some functions in there to enforce some password policies on your users. So they'll have to enter a password that's at least one alphanumeric and one number in their password, and it has to be at least 6 characters. Otherwise, it won't allow them to change their password, and they'll get some errors, and nasty things will happen. Okay, nasty things won't happen, but at least we can put some password policies on there. We'll go ahead and we'll wait for this to finish building. Now, another thing to remember in here, if you had built Qmailadmin to use the spam box, what you're going to want to do, or if you're not using CentOS, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to build the source file. So you can do -bs, and then you're going to rebuild that for your distro, and you're going to need to add in the --define spam box 1 option to be able to put that in there. So now that we've built it, we can go to rpms-i386, and you can, well, probably won't see it there. But we'll have a new Qmail admin file, which we can do Qmailtoaster, which we can check that. Yep. It thinks it's March 13th, which actually it's not, but that's okay. So basically, we know we created that file today. Normally, you won't have files in there, but we'll go ahead and we'll install it. I think it's -- replace files, maybe not. There we go. Yeah, so it's -- let me put that back in there so you can see it. RPM capital U underscore or lowercase VH -- replace files Qmail admin toaster. And what that'll do is that'll overwrite any of the files you already have in your system. Let's see, I think we also may have to do. Yeah, that's going to definitely force it to overwrite everything. So -- replace files and then -- replace pkgs. That's going to make it overwrite anything you already had installed, because we're not changing a version number or anything. We're just basically, we changed some of the source code. We need to make sure that it gets reinstalled. RPM, since it already has the same version number, is going to kick out some errors saying, hey, we've already installed this version. What are you doing? And it's going to error out. We don't want it to do that. We want it to overwrite the files, and that's that's what we want. So at this point, if you follow this, you now have some, at least some password policies you can enforce on your users when they add passwords in. And with the rash of, compromised email accounts that we've seen on the mailing list over probably the last 6 months or so, this is probably not a bad option to look at. So we thank you for watching. That's going to conclude this video, and we look forward to seeing you next week.